Good morning everyone, today we're checking out a brand new video from Kanye about what are the true holy Digimon forms of the 7 fallen demon lords. Let's hop in and see what Khan figured out.
So I did my little video talking about the 3 Archangel Digimon, or the 3 Holy Digimon, whatever you want to call them. I discussed how, potentially, it says in the lore that the 3 Archangels, when fallen beyond their fallen modes, Black Seraphimon, Aphanimon Fall Down Mode, and Cherubimon Vice, they could have the potential to go even deeper and become Demon Lords. Now we know 2, and have a solid hunch on the 3rd. But what other Holy Digimon would fall to become the 7 great Demon Lords?
Let's go. Bum, bum, bum.
What is up, digital companions? My name is Khan EX and welcome back to another video. And
glad to be here, Khan.
All of the Demon Lords' holy equivalents be. I do want to address some comments on the last video that said that perhaps the Archangels becoming Demon Lords doesn't refer to the 7 great Demon Lords necessarily, and could just mean the Demon Lord subgroup, which other Digimon belong to, such as Bagramon, Deathmon, and even Myrmicusmon, which, yes, would be fantastic for a Digimon on this list. However, I think it's most likely, given that 2 of them already are specifically 7 great Demon Lords, that the rest of them would become Demon Lords too. Also, a lot of the 7 great Demon Lords are also Demon Lord type, so it's kind of little column A, little column B regardless. Now, as I said in the intro, we already know 2 pretty definitive.
Going to have to do a little G on this. As, you know, try some of column A, try all of column B.
Definitively, as Seraphimon's Digimon reference book listing states that Demon, or Creepymon, which fell to the Dark Area and became an Evil King Digimon, is said to have originally been a Seraphimon. This cements the idea that Seraphimon will become Black Seraphimon and then eventually Demon. Similarly, Lilithmon's Digimon reference book listing states that Lilithmon is thought to have once been an Ophanimon, but it fell from grace. Again, that all lines up to that idea. Unfortunately, though, going forward for things like Cherubimon Vice, we don't really have a outright statement from Digimon reference book listings stating what they would be. We also, if we're assuming...
Technically, we do have a good option, since it's one of the only beasts, and I don't want to automatically give it Wrath. The Cherubimon Vice, if fallen down more, could become Leviathanmon.
Assuming the Demon Lords have holy counterparts, don't quite know what they would be. I think most naturally we have now a sort of informal group. It's not been added to the Digimon reference book, but it was in Digimon Adventure 2020. That is the 7 holy Digimon from Digimon Adventure 2020. And I think this makes a ton of sense. There are some other Digimon that I think would make sense. For example, Mastemon and Lucemon Fall Down Mode would be fun, though to me they're more like siblings than opposites. Other contenders are basically any holy Digimon like Dominiumon, Lovely Angemon, Anubismon. You could go with the Olympos 12, but they're godlike as opposed to intrinsically holy. And of course, yes, the Royal Knights do feel like a natural counterpart to the Demon Lords, with something like Gallantmon or Gallantmon Crimson Mode being the holy counterpart to Beelzemon. But honestly, the rest of the Royal Knights have dubious holy connections, some much more holy and some way less holy than others. And I just think the 7 holy Digimon is the most likely, especially as 3 of its members are the Archangel Digimon, which we have a confirmed connection to the 7 Demon Lords. That's only 4 more Digimon we have to add to this mix, and only 5 more Digimon we have to find Demon Lord counterparts for. So I'm going with the 7 holy Digimon. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. So as I said, Seraphimon is Demon confirmed, and Ophanimon is Lilithmon confirmed. So now the order is going to be Digimon that I think have the most in common, or have things that I could see transmuting to the other, and then we're going to kind of go down the line until we get to the least well connected, but it's just kind of the dregs that are left because the others fit better. Cherubimon, I am settling on being the non-fallen form of Leviathan. This is because, of course, Leviathan is related to the sin of envy, and specifically Cherubimon Vice X Antibody is said to be filled with envy at having given up ultimate goodness and hates the world for causing its fall. Cherubimon Vice X Antibody basically is another option for a fallen Cherubimon Vice, and the fact that they specifically choose the word envy I do not think is coincidental, and I think may hint at that connection to Leviathan. But the pick for Cherubimon Vice and Virtue last time was Belphemon Rage Mode, as Belphemon Rage Mode and Sleep Mode are kind of 2 different modes, similar to Vice and Virtue. However, that in mind, with now the full 7 holy Digimon, there is Racielmon, who once held the same rank as Ophanimon, and even gets its ability from Kernel, which is the same source of power and hierarchy the 3 Archangels get theirs from, implying again that connection to the 3 Archangels, and Racielmon being in that Adventure 2020 group. It all lines up quite well. Also, famously, Famously, Racielmon, or I guess the Meikumon Digivolution line, is actually two very notable branches in Tri. We actually never saw Racielmon in Tri. And each stage from Meikumon has a dark or more vicious counterpart. We have
Oh, yeah.
Meicrackmon and Meicrackmon Vicious Mode, and we have Racielmon and Ragglemon. Interestingly, Ragglemon is said to attack and destroy Angel Digimon before they can fall completely. Almost like it could keep in check the other Angel Digimon from becoming Demon Lords.
Like
An interesting line,
on.
I think, in its Digimon reference book listing is that since the task of surveillance is an alienating one, Ragglemon itself may become overwhelmed by a feeling of emptiness that causes it to reject everything. Should this happen, it would lose its ability to distinguish friend from foe, turning it into a terrifying and highly destructive Digimon. Almost like its
I could definitely see that thing becoming Balfagol.
emptiness, its solitude, has led it to fly into a rage. A vicious rage, you could say. Yeah, I really like that connection to Balfamon. Rage mode, specifically, and you could consider Meicrackmon and Racielmon kind of the sleep modes, just passively observing, and then spring into action as vicious mode and Ragglemon into rage.
I can see
our
that.
next Demon Lord is Barbamon, and, well, I'm gonna go with Valdemon here. Valdemon really does make me want to, instead of using the 7 Great Demon Lords, choose Myrmicusmon, the Demon Lord type, because that bird connection is way stronger. However, as I was researching this video, I realized something. Barbamon has 6 wings. And how many wings does Valdemon have, very specifically? 6 wings! And you know, Barbamon's nose, which could be seen as offensive, given he's the Demon Lord of Greed.
That's also a mask as well, so that's clearly not his nose. It's a mask. Remove it. Then you get his real face.
So could be considered kind of beak-like, you know? It's common, at least in some slang in the UK, to say, oh, you got a big beak on you, haven't you? Valdemon's kind of signature move is also the Purge Shine, and while this is again a little bit tenuous, Barbamon X has specifically got its demonic power and its Death Lure as part of its body now, which allows it to turn a Digimon's Digicore into a gem, which kind of shines brightly. It's a weak connection, I will admit, but there's something there, and I especially like that 6-wing connection, which is kind of specific, and there are other Demon Lords with wings, but I don't believe any with like specifically 6 segmented. You could make the argument for Balfamon Rage Mode, but then Lucamon Fall Down Mode has I think 8. This is also a bit of a stretch, but obviously there's a lot of biblical themes coming from the 7 Holy Digimon and the 7 Great Demon Lords, and there are times in the Bible where birds are referred to as greedy, and obviously if you think about real life, magpies and ravens do like shiny things, so a Valdemon that has fallen to darkness might kind of seek its former light in jewels as Barbamon. So that leaves us with 2 holy Digimon that I'm not sure where to place, and the first is Clavis Angemon, and my brain is telling me to go with Lucamon Fall Down Mode. Obviously they're both angelic Digimon, right? Or at least Lucamon is a fallen angel, so I think a connection to either Clavis Angemon or /Angemon, given that Seraphimon is already taken, would make a lot of sense. We also have some interesting stuff in Clavis Angemon's Digimon reference book listing, which talks about a Zenith Gate, which it's sealed with the special key that it has, that Sora-esque Keyblade. It's also interesting that Lucamon's power is literally split among the 3 Archangels, so there's already a connection there. But something that I noticed that I really liked is that Lucamon X specifically is less like totally evil in comparison to Lucamon Fall Down Mode or Satan Mode, etc., and is said to have transcended God. And this is a very tenuous connection, but Lucamon Fall Down Mode's Digimon reference book listing also makes reference to being sealed away. But in this instance, Lucamon Fall Down Mode was sealed away in the dark area. So Clavis Angemon works on seals. It kind of keeps the peace for God
actually,
with 300.
That actually kind of fits. I mean, the Gate Guardian falling from the gate to only then be locked behind another gate. What kind of makes some sense?
160 doors, and indeed the power embedded in Clavis Angemon's key could collapse the digital world itself, but is only used against foes who would destroy the doors. But surely, if a Clavis Angemon that fell to darkness did try to use that power, it might be kicked out of digital world heaven and sealed away in a similar door to the kind of doors it used to protect. That certainly would be considered a rebellion that Lucamon Fall Down Mode instigated. I also think it's interesting if we look at the wings of Clavis Clavis Angemon, while it's not perfect, the points and amount are more similar to Lucemon fall-down modes. And they even have pretty similar boots, in my opinion. I think it's pretty great. That does leave us with our last Demon Lord, Beelzemon, and our last Holy Digimon of this group, slash Angemon. And yeah, initially on paper, there's not a lot these two have in common. But I think they are both integrally weapon-themed, even if those weapons do switch completely in type. Slash Angemon...
I mean, yeah, you got Slash Angemon, which is 100% blade, and you have Beelzemon, which is a gun.
Mon having blades and Beelzemon having guns. They also both have masked upper faces with protruding hair and do kind of share spikes. It's a weird theme, but obviously Slash Angemon is covered in spiky swords. Beelzemon has spiked claws and these spikes on his feet. It's tenuous, but it's not that insane for Digimon. Beelzemon himself is not incredibly accurate to the Beelzebub of the Bible, given that Beelzebub means like Lord of the Flies or dung or filth, and Beelzemon himself isn't that filthy or fly related. I can't find anything that links Beelzebub to swords, so really Slash Angemon becoming and falling down to Beelzemon is more of these are the last two of the group. However, also if we think about Beelzemon Blastmo, when it redeems itself, it does gain wings back. Admittedly not blade wings, but it's something. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on this one. I can definitely make the argument that Slash and Clavis would swap their Demon Lords, but I think ultimately what I've settled on is best. Now there is, I will acknowledge, also a Agudamon, who is kind of the fusing of all of the 7 great Demon Lords. Would it
technically it's only the fusion of 2 of them.
Equivalent just be something like Omnimon Merciful Mode, or even specifically Omnimon Alter S, if we're going off the Adventure 2020 canon, where all the crests kind of came together to make Alter S happen, in a similar way as how all of these sins of the Demon Lords come together to make Agudamon. However, I don't think that's likely. I think Agudamon would not have a counterpart. Instead, the 7 Holy Digimon would fall to Demon Lords, and then once they had already fallen, they would then combine into Agudamon. So I don't think there's any real need for a counterpart to Agudamon in this video. But that is it. My thoughts on what 7 Holy Digimon might fall to become the 7 great Demon Lords. Of course, I'm far from objective, so if you've got some more biblical references or something I missed in the Digimon reference book, let me know in the comments down below. However, I'm more interested to hear what you might do if you were to not use the 7 great Demon Lords. How would you line up each of these to a Demon Lord type Digimon? For example, as I touched on earlier, Valdemon and Myrmicusmon makes all the sense in the world. Let me know all of that in the comments down below, and thank you to ZDK14 and Ram McGrayfire, who are my sovereigns over on here. Thank you to
Alright everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of y'all next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.